Hi, my name is Carola. Thank you for watching. This flow is appropriate for all levels. However, if you are not sure whether you should do this practice or not, please check with your doctor. Thank you for joining me. Paz y luz.
All righty. So, okay. So before we get started, if y'all usually, if y'all need a block, just to kind of help you out sometimes to get the height. So if you have a block, sometimes when I didn't have blocks, you can use like a hard book. That can be useful too. Or if you need blankets, sometimes blankets instead of blocks can be used to kind of prop you up, depending on whatever pose we're doing. So that might be helpful too, when we're doing all of our poses. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a seat. So making sure that your sitting bones are on the mat. Sometimes it gets kind of tiring keeping your spine upright. And since we're going to start with pranayama, a couple of breathing exercises, we're going to be sitting down just for a tad bit longer. So you could, if you have a block, you can put it right on your sitting bone, which it helps you to keep your spine upright, or a blanket, or, you can grab a pillow from the couch, anything that you have at home. It doesn't have to be anything in particular, just whatever it feels comfortable so that you can stay seated upright while we do the breathing exercises. So I'm going to keep mine back here just because sometimes I start slouching a little bit, not realizing it. Okay, so once you're in a comfortable position and you can sit, with your feet 1 foot in front of the other, you can sit crisscross applesauce. You can put 1 foot on top of the other, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Making sure that your spine is upright, and then your hands, you're just going to lay them on your thighs, palms up. And we're just going to first kind of center our mind. So I invite you to close your eyes and then breathe in fully. And then breathe out through your mouth. And as you breathe out, just whatever is jumbled up in the head, just kind of envision it as you breathe out, just kind of coming out. Whatever doesn't serve you right now, just envision it coming out. And if it's something you need to go back to later, you know what? Picture it kind of being wrapped up in a little suitcase, put it to the side of the mat, and it'll be there when you're done with the practice. So again, breathing in and breathing out of our mouths. Okay, so now we're going to start with our first pranayama. So it's called Ujjayi breath. So what we're going to do is when we breathe in, sometimes we have a tendency to either breathe like into our shoulders, and our shoulders kind of come back up, and we don't ever really fill our lungs fully. Usually it's just kind of very shallow breaths, and then that's it. That's how we go about our day. But what we're going to do is we're going to fill up our lungs to as maximum as we can. So how we do that is, instead of like pushing your belly out, which really is just pushing your belly out and not really filling your lungs, you're going to first start breathing in like a slightly through your belly, and then you kind of hold your belly there. It's kind of holding, really what you're doing is holding your diaphragm, and then you're going to push air into your lungs, and you're going to feel your ribs expand. So you could even put your hands here to start off, just to kind of feel, as you breathe in, your ribs expanding. And then when you breathe out, you can either breathe out normally, just through our nose until all the air is out. Or you can also do the Ujjayi breath, which when you breathe out, you constrict a little bit the back of your throat, and it sounds like the sound of the ocean. So it would sound something like this. So you breathe in, and then when you breathe out, kind of has, I don't know if you guys heard it, but it kind of has like a oceany type sound. So if you can do that, go ahead and do that. If not, then that's fine. Just breathe out normally, just making sure that at the very, very, very end, you're pushing your belly button in so that you're getting rid of all the air. And then we're gonna go back and breathe in. So let's practice it twice, and then we're gonna do it totally for 16 breaths. So let's do it, let's practice once. So breathing in, and in your head, to keep your mind and your breath, you can kind of count to, like, I'll start with 5. So you breathe in for 5. So in, 2, 3, 4, 5, expanding your ribs. And then just breathe out. And then breathing in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what we're gonna do together. In your mind, you can count, maybe if 5 is too little, you can go higher, then count up as long as you want to breathe in, and then just make sure that you fully breathe out. So we're gonna do that for 16 breaths, and I'll let you know when we're done. So let's go ahead and start. Let's breathe in. Last breath. Okay, so hopefully y'all are starting to feel just a little more relaxed. We're gonna do another one, but only for 8 breaths. And it's exactly what we did. But now when you breathe in, like if you've been counting, let's say for 10, so you would breathe in for 2, hold your breath for 2, breathe in again for 2, hold your breath for 2, breathe in again for 2, hold your breath for 2. And then once you get to the tippy top, that you can't breathe anymore, hold it for 2 seconds. And then you're going to exhale fully, just like you did for the first round that we did. So let's go ahead and practice it. So I'm going to count up to 10. So breathe in, 1, 2, hold, 2, 3. I'm sorry, I can't count. In, 1, 2, hold, 3, 4, in, 5, 6, hold, 7, 8, in, 9, 10, hold, 11, 12, and then you're just going to breathe all the way out. And then as you're breathing in and you're holding, as you're expanding your ribs, you're going to keep them like that. Don't like deflate them. Just keep them as they are, because you're continuing to fill your lungs with air. So let's practice one more time, and then we'll do it by ourselves next. So breathe in 2, hold 3, 4, in 5, 6, hold 7, 8, in 9, 10, hold 11, 12, and then go ahead and release all that air. So we're going to do that for eight rounds. So that just one round is the breathing in, and then the breathing out, and that would be 1. So we're just going to do it for 8 times, and I'll let you guys know when we're done. Okay. So let's go ahead and start. Last breath. All righty. So hopefully, again, you guys feel relaxed. Doing pranayama which is this kind of breathing, is really good for your parasympathetic system, which is kind of that system that helps us to relax. You know, we're sometimes in that fight or flight, which is the sympathetic system. So this kind of helps us to calm down. So if ever you are in a situation that you're kind of feeling anxious or something like that, even if you're standing, you know, just kind of taking those deep breaths in and out can totally help you. So hopefully that was helpful. I invite you to put your hands in Anjali Mudra or prayer position. And let's go ahead and set an intention for today's practice. So whatever you need for today, you know, if you, you know, a lot of mine, sometimes it's being mindful, staying in the moment, whatever you need for today, go ahead and set that intention for today. And then just always keep it in mind for the rest of the practice and the day. All right, so let's get started. So let me remove my block. Sorry. Staying in sitting position, we're going to go ahead and breathe in and bring your hands up. Stretch, 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 as though your hands are trying to touch the ceiling. And exhale. Left hand on the left side, bringing your hand over. Getting a good stretch on your right side. Your arm should be as active, which means like it's trying to touch the side wall. It's not just kind of sitting there. It's actively trying to move out. And that's what gives you the good stretch. Breathing in, arms up, and exhale. Right hand to right side, left hand over, getting that good stretch. Your arm feeling like it's wanting to touch the other side. And then your right hand should also be active. So making sure that we're not dumping our weight onto our shoulder. Also making sure that we're actively pushing out of that arm too. Inhale, arms up. So now we're going to do a side twist. So breathe in. And then as we breathe out, your left hand is going to go behind you and your right hand is going to go to your left knee, and you're just going to twist. And make sure that you are twisting from your spine. Release. Hands up, breathe in. And then exhale. Same thing on the other hand. On the other side. Right hand back, left hand on your right knee. Twisting from your torso. Looking over to your right if that's comfortable. And release. So now we're going to do little cat-cows while we're sitting. So hands on our knees. And what we're going to do is we're going to round our back. So breathe in, rounding our back. And then as we exhale, we're going to puff our chest out. Looking up. Inhale. Round your back. And exhale. Puff your chest out. A couple of little neck stretches. So go ahead and grab your left hand and put it on the right side of your head and just bring it to the left, but just let gravity push it down. Like don't push it down with your hand. Just kind of lightly lay your hands there and let gravity kind of push your hand and your head down. And you should feel a good stretch on your right side of your neck. Inhale up. And then exhale, you're going to do the same thing to the other side, grabbing the other side of the neck, just letting gravity pull it down, not being too hard on your neck. And release. And we're going to interlace our hands, our fingers, and we're going to put it just right at the top of our head. And the same thing, we're just going to allow gravity to pull our neck down, not being too hard. And then if it feels comfortable, I know sometimes this isn't comfortable for everybody, you can kind of look back just to get a good stretch. If not, that's fine. Usually I don't do it that way. Just, I don't know, it doesn't feel good. But if you need to, go ahead and do it. Okay. So now we are going to, let me scoosh back a little bit. We are going to stay how we are, and we're just going to fold forward. So we're just going to kind of stretch our hamstrings a little bit. So keeping your back straight, breathe in, bring your arms up. And then as you exhale, go ahead and bring your body forward. So for example, if this is as far as you can go, then that's perfectly fine. You want to make sure that you're not ever in pain. You kind of want to go just to the point, like they call it the edge, where you're feeling uncomfortable, but it's not painful. And as you breathe, it probably will feel better. But that's as far as you want to go. So wherever you are, just honor your journey. And as you practice more, you'll be able to stretch further down. But keeping your spine upright as you breathe in, just kind of come down as you breathe down. And then if you breathe in, you can kind of lengthen your spine and then breathe out and come down as far as you want. Keeping your head kind of looking forward at 45 degrees, making sure that the spine is still straight, because we're stretching our hips. Right now we're not stretching our back, our lower back. Okay, and release, and we're gonna do it again, but whatever foot you had forward, switch it, and we're just gonna do the same thing again. So breathe in, and then as you breathe out, just the same thing. Sometimes one side is easier to do than the other. So just go ahead and go down as far as it's comfortable for you, making sure that you are keeping your spine straight and you're looking about a 45 degree angle straight ahead. Okay, let's come back up. Now let's find ourselves into tabletop. So let me do it this way here. So thighs hip width apart, and then your arms are going to be shoulder width apart, and you want to make sure that your shoulders are over your wrists, meaning like you don't want to be like this or you don't want to be like this. You want to make sure that everything is one long line. Okay, and we are going to do a couple of little cat-cows here too. So when you breathe in, you're going to round your back for cow. Sorry, cat. And exhale, arching your back for cow. And making sure that you are actively pushing from your arms. You should not be dumping weight into your shoulders. Breathe in, round your back, pushing, 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 and exhale, arching your back, making sure that we're actively pushing. Okay, and then we're going to be, we want to kind of warm up our wrists too. So if you take your wrist and point them side to side, so that means your fingers were pointing up, now they're pointing to the left and right, and then you can just kind of rock side to side, just carefully giving your wrists a good stretch. And then if you can, bring your your fingers to face you, and then the same thing, you can kind of rock forward and back a little bit, peeling your fingers off the mat. And then if it's comfortable for you, you can go ahead and put the front part of your hands down to give it a good little massage. And then again, peel your hands off. So that'll just get them kind of activated because we're going to be using them a lot. Okay, so let's start. Let's go ahead and bring our right foot back, and we're going to be plugging our the balls of our feet of our right foot, and we're going to be pushing, giving our right calf a good stretch. And then from here, taking your left leg, you're going to twist it to your right. So it's going to make it parallel to the mat. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bring your right leg over, and it's going to be your toes are going to be pointing up. Okay, so this is called gate pose. So inhale, arms up, and then exhale, right hand on your leg, left hand up, getting a good stretch. Inhale up. And then as we go down to our left, you want to take your right foot and now make it parallel with the mat. So as we exhale, we're going to put our left hand down and we're going to take our right arm over. Exhale, put your arm down, little funky crawling here. We're going to crawl all the way back to the front and we're going to find ourselves into a low lunge. So you want to make sure that your front foot is at about a 90 degree and your left leg is down, activating your a little bit of your glutes and your core. You're going to push down a little bit so that you get a good little stretch on your hips and a little bit on your lower back. And bring your arms up, actively pushing out of the front heel, because that's what helps you to stay balanced. And then exhale, bring your right arm down slowly, right next to your right foot. All righty, so left arm up, and then going right up. Okay, and then we're going to put our hands right next to our front foot, sorry. And then you're going to extend it. So this is called a half split. So bringing your foot straight, what you want to do is you want to get a good stretch on your hamstring. So the way to do that is you're going to keep your spine straight and then you come down. But if it's hard to kind of get that length to keep your spine straight, you can definitely use a block and then which lifts you up, and then you can come back down. Okay, and release. Let's go ahead and bring our right leg back into tabletop. So let's go back into tabletop. And we're going to do the same thing now with our left side. So let's go ahead and bring our left foot back. Let me scoosh up a little bit. Okay, left foot back. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but with your right leg. So you're going to twist it so that it becomes parallel with your mat, and then bring your left leg over for gate pose, arms up, and then as you exhale, go ahead and twist to your left, making sure that you're actively pushing out of both arms, extending your right, wanting to touch the wall. Inhale up, go ahead and twist your feet so that it's parallel to the mat. And then exhale, bring your right arm down, left arm up for a good stretch on your left side. Actively pushing out of your right. Inhale. Crawling around to the front, finding yourself in low lunge. Okay. And when you find your balance, go ahead and bring your arms up. Again, making sure you're not dumping weight onto your shoulder. So you don't want to be like this. You want to be actively pulling them out. They want to touch the ceiling. And then let's inhale. And then as we exhale, let's bring our left hand to the inside of our left foot. And then we're going to extend our right arm. Okay. Woo. Finding your balance, going back up to low lunge and release. So let's go ahead and put our arms down, extend our left leg, and the same thing. You just want to get a good stretch on your hamstring. So making sure that your spine is straight, going forward as much as you can to get that good stretch. And release. Okay, let's go back into tabletop. Okay, and now we're going to go into plank. So you can either come up into regular plank or modified plank, which is with your knees down. So choose whichever one you want. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna come all the way down. And then with our arms right under our shoulders, we're gonna make sure our elbows are facing back. So you don't want them to be facing outward. You want your shoulders as though they're glued to your sides. And then you're gonna push, 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 push. Not so high that you're in pain, just enough so that you feel a good stretch on your lower back. Kind of activating your glutes a little bit to protect your lower back. And release, exhale. Inhale, go ahead and come back up one more time, making sure again that you're actively pushing out of your arms and you're not dumping weight onto your shoulders. And then release. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back into that plank pose. Okay, and then from plank, let's go into downward facing dog. So this is our first one. So you can pedal your feet out because, you know, just to kind of stretch them out. You want to make sure that your hands, kind of like at a high five, they are plugged into the mat. You want to make sure that all of the fleshy part of your hand and the tips of your fingers are on the mat. You don't want them to come up, especially this part right here. Because that can cause imbalance, and then that's when you get all those wrist pains and things. So making sure that you have all your fingers plugged, pushing, because that's what's going to keep you from slipping on the mat. You want your head in between your arms, and then for your legs, if it's too much putting your heels down, you can bend your knees, you know, as much as you need to, just making sure that you're actively pushing out of your arms and that your head is just dangling in between your arms. There's no tension. Okay, so you can keep your legs bent, or if you can put them down right now, that's perfectly fine. Okay, and now let's go ahead and push, 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 push out of the balls of our feet. Bring our right leg in. Now our left leg, and forward fold. So you're just gonna put your belly to thigh, and you can bend your legs as much as you can, making sure that your hands are right next to your feet. Your head should be dangling, no tension. And then we're gonna push, actively push out of the sides of our feet. So actively pushing, tightening our glutes and our core. That's going to help us to come up, being strong, strong, strong. You can do a mini back bend here if you'd like. And then you're going to exhale. Okay? So we're going to do a couple of little standing stretches and to help us out, a little bit of balancing. So from here, let's go ahead and make sure we're grounded. So you're going to put your feet together and you're going to lift your toes up, spread them. And if you can't spread them, just spread them with your hands. You just bend down and spread them. And then you're going to place them on the mat. So that way your feet, the bottom of your feet are touching the mat in all corners so that you're very balanced. This is called Tadasana, which is mountain pose. So you want to feel very strong, very grounded in this pose. Okay, so Also actively pushing out of the sides of your feet. You shouldn't be dumping weight onto your arches. All the weight should be on the outside of your feet. And then tightening your core, tightening your glutes. Okay, and that way it kind of helps to keep your spine straight. And then sometimes with the head, I don't even pay attention and everything's straight except my head. It's kind of poking forward. So just kind of actively be aware that your head should be all in one line with the rest of your body. Okay, so inhale, interlace your fingers when you come up to the top. Okay, stretch, 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 stretch here. And then exhale to the left. Again, getting another good stretch. Inhale up and exhale to the right. Inhale up, and then let's release our hands. You can put your fingers on your hips, thumbs facing forward. And we're just gonna do a little back bend. So in order to avoid hurting your back or just aggravating it, always tighten a little bit your glutes and your core. And then when you go back, it protects your lower back. You're not doing the back bend with your back. You're doing it with a very firm core. So when you inhale in, tighten everything. And then as you exhale, you can come back and you can bring your head back if you'd like, or looking forward. And release. Okay, so now hands in Anjali Mudra or prayer position. We're gonna just do a teeny weeny bit of balancing. So again, making sure that your feet are grounded. Go ahead and put your weight now on your right foot, and then you're gonna lift your left leg up to 90 degrees. So it's a little bit of just a balancing exercise. If you fall, that's fine, okay? So you wanna make sure that your leg is strong. You're pushing out of the outside of your feet. Actively with your left toes, so spreading them out and release, okay? Now grounding your left foot, bringing your left foot up. Same thing, 90 degrees. One thing too to keep in mind, make sure that your torso is, you're keeping it facing forward. Pushing out of the outside of our feet. And then release. All righty. So now we're gonna do a couple of sun salutations to kind of get our body even more warmed up. Okay, so let's go to the front of the mat. Okay. And ground your feet in Tadasana. And here we go. So I'm going to explain the first time a little bit more, and then we'll kind of move a little quicker on the other ones. So inhale up, slight back bend if you'd like. And then exhale, dive down. That means head goes down first, so you don't hurt your back. Out, we're in forward fold, making sure that our belly is on our thighs. And our head is just dangling. So you should be able just to kind of dangle your head and it doesn't feel any tension. Bending your legs as much as you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. So here you want your spine straight. Modification, you can put your arms or your hands on your shin, or if you have a block, you can definitely use the block and put it in front of you. Okay, so halfway lift, plant your hands on the floor, bring your left leg down, and we're gonna go into a low lunge. So we've already done low lunge, making sure that our leg is close to 90 degrees, pushing out of the front heel. And then when you find your balance, go ahead and come up, arms up, strong. They wanna touch the ceiling. And release, hands on the floor. You're going to plug your right foot in and lift your knee And then you're gonna bring your left leg back. So here's a couple options. You can, instead of doing chaturanga, you can do knees, chin, and chest, which is this, knees, chin, and chest. And then you would push yourself up to cobra, which is what we did a little bit earlier when we were stretching our back. Or if you want more of a challenge, when you are in, when you're in plank pose, you use your toes to propel yourself up a little bit, and you come down, arms at 90 degrees. You don't go all the way down, and then you put your feet flat and you push yourself up, making sure that nothing is touching the mat except your hands and the top of your feet. So once you choose whichever mode you want, then you're gonna come back up to down dog. And let's take a couple deep breaths here. Going back to that breathing we did at the beginning of the practice. Bringing, let's go ahead and go on our tippy toes again, pushing in our arms and our legs. And we're gonna bring our right foot forward. And now we're gonna lay our left foot down. So we're doing low lunge on the other side. Once you find your balance, go ahead and bring your arms up. Arms down. Again, push out of the back leg, but instead of going into plank, you're gonna use this foot to kind of help you bring it forward. Then going down into forward fold, bending your knees as much as you need to, and then pushing out of the sides of your feet, up, 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 up. Slight back bend if you want, and then release. All righty, so we're gonna do that again. Sorry, had to adjust here. We're gonna do that again, just a little quicker. So we're just gonna alternate the feet, okay? So inhale up, slight back bend if you'd like. Exhale, dive down, head first, all the way down, belly to thighs. Inhale, halfway lift, modification. You can put your arms on your shins. And now you're gonna bring your left leg back, put it down, find your balance, and then we're gonna go into low lunge. Okay, making sure those arms are actively pushing, actively wanting to touch that ceiling, your head facing forward. Exhale, come down, plug that left leg, bring your right leg back into plank, and do whatever modification you want. If you want knees, chin, and chest and cobra, do that. Or if you want chaturanga to up dog, then go ahead and do that. And downward facing dog. Okay. Again, let's take a couple deep breaths. Just like those deep breaths we were taking at the beginning of the practice. Lift your toes, bring your your left leg forward, put your right leg down, find your balance, and let's go back up into low lunge. Arms actively wanting to touch that ceiling. Exhale, hands to the side, plugging your the balls of your feet and your right foot, helping you to bring it up. We're gonna put them together now. Forward fold, belly to thighs, neck, no tension. Now pushing out of the sides of our feet, up, 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 up. Slight back bend if you want, and exhale. Okay. So we're going to do another sun salutation, but it's going to be a little bit of a different variation. Okay. So instead of a low lunge, we're going to now do high lunge. Okay. So let's go ahead. Inhale, slight back bend if you'd like. Exhale, all the way down, diving down for a forward fold. Belly to thighs, bending your knees as much as you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, modification, putting your hands on your thighs. Put your hands down, and then we're gonna step both feet back into a plank. Okay, so you're gonna go into whatever variation you like, chaturanga, up dog, or knees, chin, and chest, and cobra, whichever one you're more comfortable with. And then downward facing dog. Okay, let's take 2 deep breaths here. Actively pushing out of our arms. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're going to take our right leg and we're gonna lift it into 3 dogs. So just however high you can get it, making sure that you're pushing out of your arms because that's gonna keep you from sliding. And then as you inhale, you're gonna bring that knee into your chest. So we're gonna put it onto the mat. So the more you use your core and you bring it in, it's gonna help you to be able to put the foot on the mat. But if it doesn't get, if it stops halfway, just use your hand and, put it wherever you need to. So once you're there, you're gonna find your balance. Your left, we're gonna go into high lunge. So your left leg, you're on the balls of your feet. Your right foot is flat on the floor. And then slowly inhale as you find your balance and you come up, okay? So in high lunge, you wanna make sure that you're actively pushing out of the front heel and out of the back balls of your feet, and your knees are never in front. So you never wanna be like this. You wanna make sure that you're either on top of your ankles or just a little bit right behind so that you don't hurt your knee, okay? Finding your balance, being strong, pushing out of the balls of your back foot, pushing out of the heels of your front foot. Release, hands down. We're gonna go into plank or modified plank. And again, knees, chin, and chest, and cobra or chaturanga up dog, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And downward facing dog. Let's take 2 deep breaths here. And we're gonna do the same with our left foot. So let's bring our left foot up, and you can even get on your tippy toes if you wanna get more height. And inhale, bring that knee in, push your core up, arch your back, or round your back, I'm sorry. And it helps you to bring your foot onto the mat. Adjust. And then once you have your balance, go ahead and push out of the heel to bring yourself up. Okay, again, making sure that your knees are on top of your ankle or a little bit before, never on top. Your left foot is, your back foot is active. You're pushing out of the balls of your feet, and the front, you're pushing out of the heels of your feet. Push, 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 push. And release. Bring your hands down, plank. And we're gonna go into knees, chin, and chest, and cobra or chaturanga and up dog, whichever one you're comfortable with. And then we are gonna end in downward facing dog. Okay. And then pushing out of the balls of our feet, let's go ahead and bring our right leg in, then our left leg in, Forward fold. Belly to thighs, your head just very loose. Pushing out of the sides of your feet. Up, 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 up. And release. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of a little more balancing. And I forgot to mention in the beginning, if at any point you feel tired or you need to stop for a little bit, you can always go into child's pose, which is the one when you're on your knees with your head down. Okay, so here we're gonna go into Utkatasana, which is chair pose. So just like in mountain pose or Tadasana, we're gonna make sure our feet are grounded, okay? And then we're gonna put our hands or our arms up, and you're gonna pretend like there's a chair behind you and you're gonna sit, but you're not gonna sit all the way. So hands up, and then you're gonna come all the way down, about right here, okay? Making sure that the bulk of your weight is on your heels. You want your weight to be on your heel. You should be able to like lift your toes and be okay. Once you have that, then comes your torso. You want to make sure that your torso is straight. You don't want to make sure that it's rounded, and you don't want to make sure that it's arched. So you want it to be straight. You want to tuck your tailbone just a little bit to protect your lower back. I'm always forgetting that. So it's always good to remember. You want to make sure that this part here is straight with the rest of your back. You can put your hands in prayer position, okay? And what we're gonna do now is we're going to shift our weight to our right, and I'll do it for facing you guys. We're gonna shift our weight to our right leg. This is my right leg here. And then you're going to lift your left and lay it on top as though you are crossing your legs. And then you're gonna go down as much as you can. The further down you go, the better the stretch you're gonna get with your hips. So if you fall, that's okay. I'm always falling. Okay. Just getting a good stretch, good balance exercise, and release, coming up really slowly, and then putting your left leg down. And you can shake that right leg if you want, if it feels a little funky. And now ground your left. Same thing. Put your weight on that left foot, and you're going to come back down into chair pose, making sure that it's as though you're sitting on a chair. And you're gonna bring that right leg up and cross it onto your left. And then you're gonna come down. Let me turn over to the side. You're gonna come down as far as you want, as far as you can. Making sure you're pushing out of the outside of your feet so that you are not dumping weight onto your, oh my goodness, the other side of the foot, the arches. Okay, bringing your leg up and down. Okay, so let's go now into Tadasana. And usually this is just called when people, usually in classes when they're like, oh, go through your vinyasa. Well, usually that's just when you're going into chaturanga, up dog, and then downward facing dog. So we do that a lot. It's a lot of, it helps us to transition from one pose to another. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna start Tadasana, arms up, breathe in. And then exhale, we're gonna go into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. You can modify by putting your hands on your chin. Exhale, putting your right leg and your left leg back into plank, chaturanga, or knees, chin, and chest. And up dog or cobra. And then downward facing dog. Okay. So now we're gonna do some very grounding, feeling powerful poses. So let's go ahead and bring that right leg up, just like we did before. Inhale, bring it in, all the way to the front. And we've already done this, so it's low, high lunge. So find your balance, and we're gonna come back up. Okay? Making sure again, your weight is evenly distributed. You're pushing out of the front heel and the back balls of your feet. And now what we're going to do is with our left foot, we're going to twist it so that it's parallel to the mat. So now that changes our pose. So we went from high lunge. Now we're going to go into warrior two. So your foot's going to be parallel to the mat. And then the front foot is going to be kind of in the middle. So when you look at your heel, it looks like as though the heel, if you drew a line, it hits the arch of your back foot. Okay. And then making sure that, again, weight is in your front. You're pushing out of the front heel. You're pushing now out of the outside of your foot. So that's what's keeping you very grounded. Your torso should be facing at a 45-degree angle. Arms are out. Again, you want to actively be pushing them out. So if you need to, sometimes it's easier if you push, if you shrug your shoulders or you round your shoulders back, it kind of locks your scapula or shoulder blades in place, and then bring your arms up. So it doesn't feel like they're just dangling. Okay. So you want to actively be pushing out. Okay. And then inhale, we're going to take our left arm, put it on our back leg, and we're going to use our right arm up to get a good little stretch on our side. And then inhale up. And then we're going to exhale. So you can put your right arm on your thigh, and then we're going to get a stretch on the other side. Back to warrior two. So that comes a little fun balancing. So we're going to go back into high lunge. So you're going to take that back foot and you're going to go back onto the balls of your feet at the same time that your arm kind of feels like it's gliding forward and going up. Okay. So how that looks like is you shift your weight now, and then your arm goes up. So it would be done at the same time. And if you fall, it's all good. It's okay. And then now we're going to go back down. We're going to go through our vinyasa. So chaturanga, up dog, or whatever variation you choose, and downward facing dog. Okay. Now left foot up. Pushing, pushing, pushing. You're bringing that foot in, all the way to the front as far as you can. Once you find your balance, go ahead and come up to high lunge. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, but just on the other side. Okay. High lunge. Go ahead and turn your back foot to be parallel to the mat so that you are at warrior two. Again, making sure that you're actively pushing out of the front heel and the back side of the foot. Shoulders are in line. You're not up here and you're not down here. Okay. Right arm down, left arm up for a good stretch. Inhale up and exhale. Left arm down, right arm over. Again, actively pushing. Back to warrior two. Now comes that funky transition. So from warrior two to high lunge, you're going to turn into the balls of your feet and bring your arms up. Acknowledging the pose. Now we're going to go do our vinyasa. So chaturanga or an up dog or whatever variation you choose or you chose. And then downward facing dog. All righty. Now, let's go ahead and go on our knees and let's go to child's pose just for a little bit, just to get a little good breath. All righty, let's come back up. And if you need to stay in child's pose, that's perfectly fine. Okay, we're gonna go into plank, and then I'm gonna show you guys a modification for side plank. So once we're in plank here, what you can do is bring your right foot, your right shin down, and turn your left foot, okay? And then your right hand is gonna be in the middle of your mat. You don't want it to be in line with your shoulders. You want it to be a little bit more forward because you're gonna use that to kind of propel you, to push you and keep you balanced. And then you will lift your arm, okay? So that's, and I'll do it in the different levels. So this would be level 1, okay? You're using your right leg as kind of like as a prop to help you stay balanced. So that's level 1. If you want a little more challenge, level 2, you would put your the right side of your foot, and then you can put your left foot up and just kind of stay like this. So you're still using both feet, but you don't have your shin to help you up. Next one would be both feet stacked. And if you really want a challenge, let me see if I can do it today because I'm getting tired, is lifting your leg up. Okay? And then let's go back to plank. And then let's do it on the other side. So out of those 4 that I showed you, choose one that you want to do, and we're going to do it on the other side. So twisting to your left side of your left or on your shin, go ahead and bring your arm up. And release. Okay, so let's go ahead and come into down dog from there, from our plank. Push out of the sides, bring your right foot, bring your left foot, come down into forward fold, bend your legs as much as you need to, and then up, 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 and release. Okay, so our last standing little poses before we do our cool down. Okay, so again, I like this one. This one's kind of fun. I like the grounding aspect of it. So it's called tree pose. So just like Tadasana, we're going to make sure our feet are grounded. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shift our weight to our right foot. So you can go ahead and bend your left knee a little bit. And there are 3 levels for this one. So you can stay here with your left foot on the mat, kind of keeping you balanced. You can put your foot on your lower calf, or you can bring it all the way up for the full expression, which is your foot on your thigh. So whichever one you're doing, you're pushing both sides. So this leg is pushing to my left, my foot is pushing to the right. So that's what's keeping me grounded. My foot is, I'm actively pushing out of the sides of my feet. One thing you want to never make sure you don't do, or thing you want to make sure you don't do, is putting your foot on your knee. You don't ever want to do that because then you're pushing your knee to a weird direction, and it can harm your knee. Okay, so different options for your arms. You can stay here in Anjali Mudra or prayer position. You can go into goddess arms, or you can put your hands up. I usually just interlace them like this and put them up. So it's just a good balancing exercise to do. And release. So go ahead and just carefully bring that left foot down. Stretch that right foot. And let's ground our left foot. And we're just going to do the same thing. So just choose whatever variation you were most comfortable with. And we're going to do the same thing, but with the other. Just making sure always that you're pushing out of the sides, the thigh or the leg, whatever part of the leg you're on, and your foot. And then again, bring your hands to whatever position you want. And just breathe. And release. Good job. All righty. So now comes goddess pose. So you want to make sure that your feet are going to be wide, toes pointing at a 45 degree, as wide as you need to. We're going to go into this goddess pose, which it brings our torso down. So however wide you need your feet, go ahead and put it now, and then you can come and stand up. Okay. So hands right now, are hands for now in prayer position. We're going to come all the way down. And then from here, go ahead and open your arms to goddess arms. Okay, that's arms at 90 degrees. And we're going to hold it here for 2 seconds, and you can pulse if you want. And then release, coming all the way up. And then coming down, pulsing. And then release. And then coming down. Release. One more. And release. All right, good job. Okay, so we're gonna go, oh, I'm sorry. I almost skipped the important part here. So from here, you can pigeon toe your feet, and we're just gonna get a good stretch on our back. So you're just gonna bend forward, and your legs can be as wide as you need to, kind of pigeon toe them. And you can put your hands on the mat and have your face looking at the mat. If you want a deeper stretch, you can grab your ankles or your toes, and then you can use that to kind of bring yourself down. And if you're doing this, your elbows would be pointing out. Just getting a good stretch on your back, on your hamstrings, on your legs. Okay, release. And then just kind of shimmy your feet a little bit closer, just a little bit. And then bend your knees deeply and hold your elbows. And we're just gonna hang here. This is called a ragdoll pose. So you have no tension on your neck. You're just letting it just go. You could even, like, you know, if you want to move your head from side to side, you could even rock your body from side to side. Feels good. And then when you're ready, come to stillness. And then bending your knees a lot, go ahead and drop your arms, and you're gonna slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, round your back and coming up, with your head being the last thing that comes up. Rounding your shoulders, okay? And we're going to do our last vinyasa before we get to our cool down, okay? So at the front of your mat, feet rounded. Inhale up, exhale down. Forward fold. Halfway lift, you can modify by holding your shins, hands down, left foot, right foot. And knees, chin, and chest, or your chaturanga. And then up dog or cobra. And then downward facing dog. So this is our last downward facing dog of the practice. So go ahead and make it a really good one. Maybe this time around, because we've done so many and we're warmed up, maybe now you can get your heels down, or you're noticing that maybe they're coming down a little more. So just notice how different your body is now to the way it was at the beginning of the practice. Making sure that you're pushing out of your arms. And let's just take a couple deep breaths, just like we did at the beginning. Okay, so now let's come up to our tippy toes and we're going to come down into tabletop. But before we do, let your knees hover just for a little bit and use your core to keep your knees hovered, making sure that you're not arching your back. You want your back to be nice and straight and strong. And come down. Okay, let's go into child's pose just for a little bit. Making sure that we're breathing in and out, just like we did at the beginning. Okay, let's go ahead and sit. Wow. All righty, so we're going to keep our left leg out. We're going to cross our right leg over, and let's go ahead and give it a nice hug. Hug, hug, hug your right leg, actively still having your left foot active, so spreading your toes. And then from here, we're gonna do a twist. So you can keep your left leg out, or if you wanna bring it in, you can do that. Just making sure that your sitting bones are on the mat still. So all I did was just cross it over. So now it's on the side. And we are going to take our left arm, right arm behind you, left arm up, and hook it to our right knee, twisting from our spine, looking at the right. And release. Okay, same thing on the other side. Right leg out, left leg crosses over. Give it a good hug. Okay. And keeping either your right leg straight or bending it, we're going to go ahead and twist. So left arm back, right arm up, hooking it onto your left knee, making sure our spine is straight, pushing actively out of your left arm. And release. Okay, going into staff pose. You want to kind of on your bum and your thigh, kind of pull that jiggly parts out so that your bottom is straight on the mat. You don't have anything in between. And you want your back nice and straight. Again, if you need any support for your back, you can use a blanket to kind of help you prop your back up a little bit in staff pose. Okay. So we're gonna deep breath in, up, up, up. And then as we exhale, we're gonna grab whatever we can. So you can be here, here, wherever you land is perfectly fine. You wanna make sure that your torso is straight. You don't wanna round it because we're not rounding our back, we're trying to stretch our legs. So grabbing wherever you can, kind of looking, I guess straight ahead, maybe 45-degree angle, going down as much as you can to your edge, making sure that it is still okay and not painful. And release. Let's go on our backs. Okay. So we are going to make sure you have both of your legs down. You're going to have your heels down. So what we're going to do is we're going to counter the pose we just did with a little back bend. So here, we're going to do bridge pose. So you're going to kind of activate a little bit your glutes and your core to push your arms up, or sorry, to push your torso up. You can use your hands to help you here. You can use your hands to hold you. Or if you want to go into the full expression, you would turn your shoulders in and then interlace your fingers under your body with palms touching. Okay, you want to make sure that you are pushing out of the heels and you're using your core and your glutes to help you up. And you don't want to over stretch, so you don't want to overextend it. You just want slightly up. And then release. Okay, bringing your shoulders out if you put them under your body. Let's go ahead and grab our knees. We can give ourselves a good stretch here. Okay, and you can rock from side to side, and it kind of gives you a little back massage. Okay, so now extending your right leg. Oops, let me scoot forward. Extending your left leg, bringing your right leg in. Go ahead and bring it into your body. And then go ahead now and just bring it a little bit to the right, opening your hip as though you want your knee to touch your right armpit. Go ahead and do that. Grabbing your knee with your left hand, you're going to bring your right leg over your left, and it's going to be on the floor. And your right hand, you can either put it down to the side, or you can cactus it, which just means it's at a 90 degree. The higher you go, the more intense the stretch is. And what you want to make sure is that your body has no tension. You can either look to the left if that feels more comfortable, or look to your right if it's okay for your neck. And you just want to breathe here, and whatever part feels a little tense and uncomfortable, you want to envision as you breathe in, you're breathing in like little bubbles. And then as you breathe out, you're going to envision those bubbles going to that part that you're feeling the tension, and you're kind of pushing them out, and it's going to push out that tension so that you start feeling more comfortable in the pose. Right leg in. Exhale. Now let's do it with our other foot. So bring your left leg up, right leg straight, hugging your left leg or your left knee. Now opening your hip to your armpit, bringing your knee up. And exhale, grabbing your knee with your right hand, bringing it over, and bringing your left arm, can be on the side, down, or really high up, however you want. And you can look to your left or to your right if that feels more comfortable. And just letting go of any tension. And release. Go ahead and grab your knees. And release. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring our knees back in. Give them a big hug. and put your knees at about 90 degree. We're going to cross our right leg over our left leg, and you're going to want to grab your shins. So if this already feels intense, then just go ahead and stay there. If you need a little more, the further, so using your biceps, the closer to your body you bring your legs, the more of a stretch you're going to get on your right hip. Keeping your toes active. And release. Bringing your left leg up. Crossing your left leg over, and now doing exactly the same thing. So bringing your shins forward, and this time you will get the good stretch on your left hip. And just do it as far as it feels comfortable, where there's no pain. And release. Okay, so knees up, and you're just going to open them. They're going to be at a 90 right now, and then you're just going to let gravity open them up. This is called supine frog. Okay, and from here, sometimes, you know, I feel like my legs need a little more stretch, so you can stretch your legs here if you need a little more. If your ankles need a good little stretch, go ahead and do that. But whatever you do on one side, make sure you're doing it on the other side. So don't stretch one leg and not do it on the other, because then it'll be uneven. Okay. And then when you're ready, come back to stillness. Just letting gravity pull your legs down. Go ahead and close your legs. You're going to interlace your hands in between them and grab the outside of your feet. And this is called a happy baby pose. So you want your legs at a 90 degree. The bottoms of your feet are going to be turned up to the wall, so parallel to the wall. Not to the wall, I'm sorry, the ceiling. Okay, just holding it here for a little bit. And release. One last good hug to our legs. Rocking from side to side if you want. And let's go into Shavasana, or corpse pose. So a couple of different ways to do this. You can put your legs mat distance apart. If it feels uncomfortable for your back, you can definitely use a blanket underneath your back to kind of help support the back. Or you can bring your legs up mat distance and then just let gravity pull them together. Sometimes I have to do that in the mornings when my back is still a little too stiff. So find whatever way you want your legs. For your arms, you can put them on the side, palms up, or you can put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, or if you want goddess arms, you can do that too. So whatever position is more comfortable, go ahead and settle in that position. And we're going to, I invite you to close your eyes, and we're going to take one deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. Let's take another deep breath in and exhale out of our mouth. So now you want to make sure that you have your mouth closed, but teeth are slightly parted. You want your neck long, so tuck your chin just a slight bit and just settle into the pose, just breathing normally. And as we breathe here, I want you to envision a like a white sphere that is coming up from the earth, kind of like the sun. And as it comes up, it brings warmth and light and goodness. Now envision, as you're breathing, this white sphere coming up through the bottom of your feet. And as it enters your body, it's going to just release any tension that you might have. So as it passes through your feet and your ankles, through your shins and your knees, envision it just releasing any tension in those parts. Now moving up to your thighs and even the back part of your knees and your hamstrings. Slowly leading up to our hips, which hips and lower back is always the part in our body that when we get tense, we just kind of hold it there sometimes. So just imagine this white sphere just pulsating and just shooting little bubbles of light into all that part of our body, just releasing tension, just melting onto the earth. Now envision this white sphere moving further up to our stomach, to our ribs, to our back, our upper back, and to finally settle in our heart chakra. So it's just going to settle there, pulsing and pulsing and pulsing, just releasing all the tension that we have in our body. All the parts that it passed through should feel tingly, full of light, and just full of just release of any tension that we have melting onto the earth. From there, envision little bubbles coming from that main sphere. And they're going to work their way all the way down through our arms. Vision it hitting our little fingers, releasing tension. Our palms, our wrists, all of the forearms, our elbows, our biceps, and now our shoulders, another part that always, always, always holds tension. And our upper back where our shoulder blades are. Just imagine all these little bubbles, they're like shooting little bubbles of light, releasing all the tension that we have. Now imagine all these little bubbles coming up through our neck and just releasing tension in the back of our head. Now moving to the front of our head, our foreheads, our eyes, that area in between our eyes and to the outside of our eyes where we always kind of hold tension to and we don't even realize it. Imagine it hitting our nose and our mouth, and all the little areas around the mouth and our chin. So now that white sphere that's been in our heart is just pulsating all these little bubbles of light all throughout our body. And our body feels light and weightless, just melted onto the earth without any tension or worry. We're going to breathe here just for a little bit longer. Okay, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes. And if you want, go ahead and bring your arms up, interlace them, and just give your body a nice stretch. Breathe in, bring your feet up. And as you exhale, go ahead and move over to your right side, cradling your head on your right arm. And then using your left hand, let's inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to push ourselves up into easy pose, so or crisscross applesauce. So before we go into our last little mini meditation, I wanted to give you guys an option of how to have your hands. So you can have your hands with a prayer position, or this other mudra is called Semudra, which actually is, it helps you to get rid of all of your worries, or anything, unhappiness, or just anything that maybe you've had. So if that's something you need, if you want to put your hands like that. So you're going to keep, so if you have your hands in like high five, you're going to take your thumb and you're going to put your thumb on the pinky, the bottom of your pinky. And then you'll just close the rest of your fingers on top of it. And you'll lay your hands like that on your thigh. So you can choose that, or if you want to stay in prayer position, whichever one you need right now, it's perfectly fine. So I invite you to close your eyes, and let's just continue taking those deep breaths in and exhale. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, just imagine all of the worry, anything that you've had on your mind, just imagine it leaving your body as you breathe out. And go ahead and continue breathing. So as you breathe, in your mind, see yourself sitting close to the sea. Your feet are gently bathed by the waves. Deeply inhale the refreshing ocean air. Hold your breath for a few seconds and then slowly exhale. Now feel a light rain in how the warm water washes away all of your sadness, your worries, and your cares. Then turn your face to the sun and allow the light and the warmth to stream in through the pores of your skin. Let yourself be comforted and given new confidence and joy. You can use the affirmation, I am filled with light, lightness, and divine joy. Taking a couple more deep breaths in. Go ahead and put your hand in prayer position or Anjali Mudra. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me today. It was awesome that we were able to meet again and keep in touch and be together this way. So thank you for coming, and thank you for shining your light and you know, everybody's energy coming into the class. So thank you so much. Um, the light in me truly, truly, truly honors the light in you. And I'm so happy to call you guys my friends. So thank you so much, and namaste.